Happy leftovers. It's 4:30. Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast North Carolina. It is Friday, Black Friday. The shopping deals are abound. And yes, we're going to be moving into, Small Business Saturday tomorrow. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television. And you're watching a special edition, a special Friday holiday edition of First Warning Live. I'm going to keep it succinct. Yesterday I did it in about 12 minutes. I think I can do that in about 12, maybe 13 minutes, because I've got some really cool information at the end if you stay with me. But by the way, look at these were the lows this morning. It was 36 degrees. Let me take this full screen, because if you need some more evidence of how cold it was. Now, some of you might say, well, to be fair, David, you were calling for 32 in Norfolk, and it was 36. You were 4 degrees off. Yeah, but Hampton was 32. I mean, look, Chesapeake was 26. I mean, Suffolk, 26. It was cold. And if you liked it today, guess what? You are going to love it tomorrow. In fact, if you like shopping in this type of cold air with some sunshine, you're going to get another day tomorrow. It's also a good day if you happen to be traveling or maybe you have loved ones that are going to be on the road tomorrow. This was our starting point, right? Did we get much warmer in the afternoon? The answer is no. In fact, the no is a big no, because our high temperature today, 42. Wait a minute, I thought you said we get to 45. I don't see too many 45s. I see a 46 in Edenton and a 44 in Franklin. That's why my expectation tomorrow is about 43. If you liked it today, you'll love it tomorrow. Well, just what we call a persistence forecast in the world of meteorology. This is what I think we're going to see again tomorrow. So these were the actual high temperatures as it's now 4:32. If you're on the call, we'd love to say hi to you. I did get a note from Katrina Gay just around 24 hours ago. This was yesterday. She pointed out, she said, Happy Thanksgiving. And I want to wish you, even though I'm just now reading this, Katrina, happy leftovers. Because, you can graze on that turkey. Turkey sandwiches, turkey soup. There's all sorts of things you could do with the turkey, even days after the holiday. But I want to import some of the newer comments, if there are any at the moment, but I got to get through the forecast. First, though, it was 44 today in Elizabeth City. That's cold. It made it to 44 in Hampton, and we made it to 43 in Gloucester. So that just gives you a sample. Our current temperatures here at 4:32 are still in the 40s, and I emphasize low 40s. Kitty Hawk, you're at 41. Manio's 42, and we got 39 in Melfa. 42 in Carrollton, and 42 in Ahoskie. If you're on this call, would love to say hi. This is a great opportunity to dialogue. That sometimes slows me down, but I enjoy looking and reading some of the comments that might be trickling in. And if you have some cool gift ideas for me, because I'm usually the last one to shop. You know what I mean? I'm that guy. And if you happen to be thinking about holiday gift ideas, I'm open to hearing any kind of gift ideas that you might have. I got Taj Brown. He's on here. He just says Happy Friday. Glad to have him here. Glad to know that you're watching, Taj. All right, so if you have a gift idea for me, Taj, like what's the best gift for that special someone in your life? Maybe if it's for you, now of course it'd be for my wife. I'm just trying to think, what do you think? Is it flowers? Is it jewelry? I don't know. Maybe it could be real generic, but I'm open to some suggestions. We'll talk more about some cool things that I've discovered here in the last 24 hours on gifts in just a moment. But temperatures right now, 42 in Suffolk. Our wind chill at the moment, it's in the 30s. So even though we can advertise it's in the 40s, it doesn't feel like it's in the 40s. It feels like 36. Right now in Norfolk, 33 in Virginia Beach. So if you have to go from parking lot to parking lot and you're carrying a bunch of bags of groceries, or in this case, shopping for gifts, you're going to find it's pretty tough to take. And I can tell you right now, I've got some notes here, because those of you who are out in this wind chill, one thing you should know, we're just days away, 16 days from Hanukkah, 27 days to Christmas, and 28 days to Kwanzaa. So whether it's unity, creativity, maybe gift giving ideas, or faith, there's all sorts of themes you could be purchasing for Kwanzaa or for Hanukkah or for Christmas. So if you have to be out in this cold air, just make sure you got lots of layers. That's my best suggestion, as it's now 4:34. Average delays right now, if you have family that's getting on in the air, maybe you're headed to Norfolk International, there does not appear to be any issues in the southeast in terms of average airport delays. That's not to say a flight couldn't be delayed, but on average, things look pretty decent across Tampa, Jacksonville, Knoxville, Memphis, and even Little Rock. Out west, it looks fine in San Francisco and Seattle, but it's Friday, right? This could change in a big way, if not tomorrow. especially into Sunday when things get more active, because we've got one of the busiest travel days, maybe arguably the busiest on record, coming up on Sunday. So nothing going on in Chicago. I think that'll change come tomorrow in a big way when snow overtakes the O'Hare Airport. Driving forecast tomorrow, if you're headed west, headed north, headed south, you got 40s, a couple of 50s around Savannah, and Jacksonville, Florida, mostly cloudy skies expected tomorrow. So if you're doing some early traveling, or maybe you're on the road, I wanted to give you at least a bird's eye view. If you've got a comment, let me know. I'm saying hi to Happy Friday to Taj. And I think Taj is actually calling out Kim, although she might be, to be fair, Taj, she might be shopping at this moment or trying to watch the Eagles game, which I would probably be normally doing, but I don't have a Prime membership to watch it. So there you go. There's some truth serum right on the table for you to digest, and I think they're losing too. Anyway, driving forecast tomorrow, not all that bad. In fact, lots of sunshine. So let me get through the weather headlines. More cold sunshine on Saturday, highs in the 40s, clouds to rain developing. Ooh, that's a little wrinkle, especially on Sunday when people might be leaving in the afternoon. That's when the showers will likely be rolling in. And then highs in the 50s and 60s, and that should be emphasized as lower 60s, and highs in the upper 50s for this particular time period that I'm focused here on the second bullet point here. A break of sunshine on Monday, that's nice, but then widespread rain on Tuesday. Now, when I say widespread rain, I'm talking about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. Now, the suggestion, even though we're just now on Friday, got Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we're 4 days out. Things couldn't change. Yesterday it looked like about 1 inch. Today it looks like it's more like 1.25 inches. So about 1 inch, 1.5 inches, I think would fit the uprights of what we can anticipate as far as a soggy Tuesday. Overcast the whole day. Rain, is this a washout? Yeah, it's kind of like a rain out. Tuesday is going to be very tough to travel if that is your chosen day to be on the road. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Satellite radar right now at 437 looks mostly clear. There have been a few wispy clouds in the mid-level of the atmosphere, but not a big problem there. Still lake effect snow coming off of Lake Erie, Lake Ontario. It's snowing downwind toward Syracuse and Binghamton and areas up toward upstate New York and even into Pennsylvania. But the big story may not be what's happening here, because clearly it's getting cold and we'll reinforce that cold tonight. It's the snow. And you keep talking about Chicago. You've been talking about this since Monday. I know. If you watched me during the 4 o'clock news, as far back as Monday, because today's Friday, I was saying Chicago coming back, getting to grandma's is easy. Getting back home through Chicago, that's going to be tough. And why do I say that? Because you're not looking at the full picture. You see all this snow in Bismarck, it's all headed to Chicagoland. And it's going to be moving in about, say, 3 to 5 a.m. on Saturday. That's tomorrow. 3 to 5 a.m. Saturday, it'll snow like the Dickens. It'll snow hard right through about 11 o'clock Saturday night Central Time. And then it'll be about another 8 hours of flurries. That'll take you through about, say, 7 or 8 a.m. Sunday. And so the damage is done, and they're working all hard to clear off the runways, and that's going to take some time because 6 to 12 inches of snow is on the table for our friends in Chicago, even though they don't have that situation. So if this is news to you, you might want to spend some time maybe finding a different airport, because this is going to be, I think, interesting to see, especially when you have such a surge of traffic, right? This is the busiest travel day, and it happens to be like a scene right out of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, right? Nobody wants to travel with John Candy's character, but you know what? If the airport's closed, it's closed, and so there might be people stuck. I'm just throwing that out there. Could be a national story, but what do I know? I'm just forecasting the weather. I think we're going to have some big implications in Chicagoland as we move into Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, and tapering off Sunday morning, and they got to clear that all off. Now, Small Business Satellite Planner, let's get back to our local weather here. 33 tomorrow will be probably closer to 31 for the low, and the wind chills will be in the mid-20s. So mostly sunny skies tomorrow. Winds are not going to be as harsh or as strong, 5 to 10, but it doesn't take much wind to make it feel like it's in the 20s in the morning. 43 for an afternoon high is chilly by 4 o'clock, so 24 hours from now, we should be right back to where we are right now. It's pretty chilly. And then 38 degrees by 7 o'clock. That should not say mostly sunny. I'll fix that. That should say mostly clear. So if you get CLR as a clear symbol there, that's mostly clear. Sunsets tomorrow night at 4:49. It goes to bed tonight at 4:49. So we're just a few minutes from sunset. The wind chill, we go from mid-30s now. That actually verifies and initializes very well. We're in the mid-20s by 11 o'clock tonight and stays that way by about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. So if you're up early doing more shopping, from a small business's perspective, 26 degrees south side. I did make some notes. I thought this would be a good time to maybe take a pause just to mention, I'm fascinated by all the different titles of what we had. We had Travel Wednesday, we had Thanksgiving Day, then we have today, Black Friday. Businesses are no longer in the red, perhaps. By the end of today, they're in the black, so they're in a profit mode. And then you have Small Business Saturday. You have No Name Sunday. Is that a thing? Somebody on Google, on my Google machine, it said No Name Sunday or National Secondhand Sunday. I like to think of it as just you got to get home Sunday. But then there's Cyber Monday, and then last but not least, there's Giving Tuesday. Now, I don't know about you, but if you've gone through all that shopping and then the last day is Giving Tuesday, they need to switch it around. I think the day before Travel Wednesday should be Giving Tuesday because you want any money left to give. You see what I'm saying? That's just my thinking out loud because it is the giving season. But we wait to the last day of the cycle to say, oh, I only have a few dollars left to give. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm just trying to make some solutions here. Give you some solutions to what is, I think, a very, very overwhelming time of year, to say the least, with stress and Christmas cards and holiday greeting cards. All sorts of things are on the table. Now, as far as the midday time tomorrow, we're going to be back in the upper 30s. We'll finish the feels like in the lower 40s. The winds will not be much of a factor come tomorrow afternoon. So morning low temperatures will improve. You can see Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then we're back in the mid-30s on Wednesday. Temperature trend will go back to 61, not in the morning, but Sunday afternoon is when I expect temperatures will come back up and improve quite a bit. Kim Thompson-Jones is here. I knew she would arrive. This is what we're trying to do. Since we don't have the traditional newscast here, we didn't have it on Thanksgiving Day, and we didn't have it or don't have it today. I'll be back on TV at 11 o'clock tonight, so I just thought I would do a little live stream just to get the weather information out there. There is a nice web article on WTKR.com. You can check it out there. But good evening to you, Kim. I'm glad I want to wish you a happy leftovers and also a happy shopping season for all the holidays that are going on this season. All right, let me go back. 61 here, 46 to 55. So there's not a lot of consistency. The normal high starting tomorrow is 58 degrees. 58's not too bad, but we're going to be up and down between that. The 40% chance of rain is primarily for Sunday afternoon. 80% chance of rain coming in on Tuesday. I think it's a washout. In many cases, it's going to be tough to dodge the raindrops. I'm thinking big puddles of about 1 inch to an inch and a half on average. Now, Futurecast tonight shows it's virtually clear, right? We don't have a lot of cloud cover tonight, so we're looking pretty cold. Frosty cold, maybe because the winds will slow down a little bit. Certainly some sheltered valleys or sheltered areas could have some frost. But by the time we hit midday tomorrow, winds more of a northerly direction, they become more northeasterly, and they're generally 5 to 10. But you've got a beautiful looking day if all you're doing is looking outside through the window, but it will be mostly sunny with some high, thin, cirrus clouds. And the clouds actually gather a bit tomorrow night. It's 10 o'clock. And then by Sunday, this is where things get really interesting. I had posted some comments from the Weather Service that there's going to be a freezing rain element. Did I get your attention? A freezing rain element in parts of the Commonwealth, not necessarily here. It's going to be west, I think, of Richmond. But there will be that opportunity. If you're traveling on Sunday and you're headed in this direction, see a little bit of pink here, 7 a.m., that would suggest it's closer to Williamsburg. So it really depends on the timing of that precip. That's noontime. And then we go into 3 p.m. This is when it starts to fill back in with just liquids. So there's going to be really cold air in the morning on Sunday, so it would be very important to take note that if you're traveling westbound, you might be driving into that dilemma. But it's mainly a rain event after 3 o'clock because we're going back in the upper 50s, low 60s by this point. And then by 7 o'clock, if you're out the door, I mean, this is going to be a sad way to have to leave town if you have family getting out of town at 7 o'clock on a Sunday. You're not only dealing with crazy traffic, they're having dealt with crazy snow in Chicago if you're by air or through aviation. But as far as those on the road, Exmoor, Virginia Beach, Williamsburg, Newport News, Hampton, Franklin, Ahoskie, it's soggy. We got a lot of rain. And most of this, I have a 40% chance of rain by day, about a 60% chance or more at night. It will be a little more pronounced. Might even be a rumble of thunder, as you suggest here in the red areas around Elizabeth City. But this is 9 o'clock on Sunday. And by 11 o'clock Sunday, the quicker it gets in here, The quicker it's going to get out of here, it's going to make for a very, very pretty Monday. Now, I know you look at that and say, what's so pretty about that? Well, that's just 2 in the morning, right? At 2 in the morning. By the time the sun comes up, all this is gone. All the clouds have moved out. We got a mostly sunny day until Tuesday. Tuesday, what's happening Tuesday? Oh, yeah, great question. What's happening on Tuesday? So we got the front coming in. That's 1 on Sunday, 6 p.m. Sunday. We bring in the rain. That's 11:30 Sunday. And then we bring out this beautiful weather. Look at all this. It's a slice of nice at 12 noon on Monday. But then all of a sudden, what's coming up out of Alabama is another low-pressure system, and it's going to come back as a warm front. Snow in parts of the maybe the Blue Ridge Mountains, the Alleghenies, and perhaps into the mountains of West Virginia. They'll get some good snow in Lexington, Kentucky, Huntington, Charleston, at least 1 to 3. That's possible. But it's a super soaker at 1 o'clock on Tuesday here. Do you see the dynamics? This is what makes weather forecasting, especially in wintertime, that much more challenging. But you gotta love it. I love it. Maybe you don't. But I can tell you, depending on when you leave, if you've got family sticking around through Monday and Tuesday, Monday's gonna be a good travel day. Tuesday, not so much. Tuesday, not so much. And there's the reasons why. You can clearly see the warm front draped across eastern North Carolina, so we'll get rain out of it, but our friends to the north, not far from, Pennsylvania's not that far north, but some areas in West Virginia will get snow, maybe even some freezing rain or a mix. It is now 4:46. I've gone a little bit long, but you're worth it. I'm worth it. We're spending some time together, hopefully some quality time. Not sure when you'll see this video or live stream, but I'm grateful that you're here. December 6th through the 12th, it's below normal across much of New England. We're going to talk about what I think is going to be a very, very cold, are you ready for this? I might as well pull this out of the hat. A very, very cold start to 2026. And I'll point this out more when I get to the 7-day, and they'll come back. I'll circle back because the things are really showing signs of brutally cold air coming back down from Canada. More on that in a moment. But this is from the Climate Prediction Center. This would take us through December 12th. So maybe there's a scarf, some warm socks, or maybe some gloves or mittens in your stocking this holiday season. By the way, 23 is my expectation tonight for Suffolk, 21 for Ahoskie, and Conway. We love you, Conway, but 19, really? 19 degrees, really? That's tough. That's tough. And you're like, where's Conway? It's over here on the west side. It's cold. About 20 in Wakefield. You gotta ask yourself: is it worth maybe dripping the faucet to save the pipes when you're in the teens? Probably not a bad idea, especially when you're in the low 20s. I'd say anywhere from 15 to 25. It wouldn't be a bad idea to drip some of the faucets if you're concerned about pipes freezing. Now, high Saturday. Look at this. We're about 43 for Norfolk. 45 for Smithfield, 46 for Gatesville, and 44 for Corolla. Now here's your first warning, WTKR, News 3 7-day forecast. It only took me 18 minutes to get here. That's not too bad. 61 Sunday, 46 for Monday, and then that's widespread rain on Tuesday. Tuesday's the super soaker, but Wednesday, Thursday look delightful. Both days in the upper 40s. It's not that bad, but all things considered, some people just like it warmer. I get it. You're either on team spring or team snow, or maybe you're on team summer and team spring, whatever team you're rooting for. I'm rooting for the Eagles, but the last thing I checked on, they were losing. So I just assumed maybe not see it, like la, 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 la. But maybe you're that way. You look at this forecast, especially the rain on Tuesday, and go, la, la, I don't want to see that. But it is what I expect to see. What do I want to share with you? Oh, this is what I want to share with you. I want to talk about the big story, what's going on between 6 and 31 miles up. I'm going to show you a little snapshot of what's going on about 11 miles up. This is today's temperature analysis. Now, again, what you're looking at from NOAA is not a forecast. This is an analysis of what's happening right now. And you can clearly see from the date at the bottom here, I'll kind of circle it down here. Down here at the bottom, it says November 28th. And last I checked with my calendar, that's today. And now not only am I seeing a high level of orange, a high level of dark orange, not only am I seeing a dark level of red, but I'm now seeing something new we haven't seen yet, which is brown. So we're getting very, very warm up here. This is, like I said, naturally occurring stratospheric warming event. Typically, as I've said before on this live stream, this has a 30 to 40 day delay. If you've ever taken a vitamin C tablet, some of them are time release, right? They spread out over time. Like when you're on a paddleboard, stand-up paddleboard, a speedboat goes by. I've done this analogy before. Sometimes if you're on a paddleboard and things look great, the weather forecast is supposed to be perfect, but then you didn't anticipate a speedboat, speeding by, and all of a sudden the waves come in and you fall off the board. right? You have to sit down and say, well, I can't stand up anymore because those waves are too big. So that's what this is representing for us in terms of the cold air. The warm air is going to rise, so what's going to happen? We're going to get cold air that's going to sink. So it's like, remember from middle school grade science class, warm air rises, cold air sinks. And so we're going to push this back down. So you're going to say, suddenly, this is intense. And I got to show this to you full screen, because if you look at the date, I put the full calendar date on there. It says November 28th. But this is going to be rotating in and out. What you see in purple and blue is the really cold air across Canada and the Arctic, and it's going to come back down. So this is December 8th, and it's going to continue to come back down in waves, just like the waves at Virginia Beach oceanfront. Just like the waves you get at the Outer Banks, you're going to find a wave of more cold air, especially as we head toward what time? I think it's going to be coming around the early part of 2026, because 30 days from now is December 28, right? And if it goes into 40 days, then you're probably after the new year. It's going to be exceedingly cold, and there'll be other waves of it. Like it'll come and then it'll retreat a little bit, just like we're getting now. We're getting cold air today and tomorrow, and then it retreats a little bit on Sunday, and then it'll come back, ebb and flow. But this is, I think, very, 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 what's the word? Bullish. It's very bullish for cold air in the lower 48, especially into parts of the Great Lakes, New England, and even perhaps into the Tennessee Valley and into Southeast Virginia, even North Carolina. So I want to show you what this really looks like. Another way to look at this is what we were looking at here, is just understand that when the Arctic in its natural state would be rotating counterclockwise, but you will typically get with these sudden stratospheric warming events a displacement, a reversal. I've said before, like a cha-cha now, y'all, now reverse. So that reversal will help usher in this Arctic blast, and it will likely come in about 30 to 40 days from now. So we've got more opportunities for really, really cold air. So maybe this is a good holiday sign. You're doing some shopping. You like it cold. Maybe you like it really cold for Christmas and for New Year's. It's coming. I think it's coming. But in the short term, if you're just joining us, 61 is the warmest day I've got. That's on Sunday. I've got us in the mid-50s with widespread rain coming in on Tuesday. One other note, how many dad jokes could I possibly tell? I told one on the air the other day. Somebody had asked me about Labubu, and I didn't know what a Labubu was. I said, well, I put a Band-Aid on my Labubu, and it got better. And so now my sister-in-law sent this to me, and I looked at it and said, is that what I think it is? In honor of Uncle David, they put a Band-Aid on Labubu. So maybe I've started a new trend here, guys. I know dad jokes aren't just for dads. You can laugh at it or kind of snicker. But there was a time, we can all remember, to me, the older people can remember the Cabbage Patch Dolls, the Tickle Me Elmos, and maybe the Pokemons, right? There's been something around that's always had this hot item at Christmas time or the holidays. Maybe it's Labubu. So maybe, just maybe, a Band-Aid on Labubu is what you're hoping for this holiday season. Anyway, very thankful for all of you. Drive safely, stay warm, wear lots of layers. Just remember, it doesn't matter if the weather is sunny or whether it's serious. Every day is a gift. We'll see you here next time. Make the most of it in your neighborhood. Take care.